What is up, everyone? Back at it again with another jungle tier list, patch 14.10. I'm gonna go over all the changes that affected jungle, how this list conspired, and how all these champions rate in the new tier list. So for starters, a big item changes has affected the jungle meta. Right away, you can notice that a lot of the AP junglers are at the top, and the reason being is actually a new item they introduced called Blackfire Torch. And what's really broken about this item isn't the item itself, but the component that adds into it. The Faded Ashes is the most broken component in the game. It got hotfix nerfed, but it's still broken for what it does, which is insanely increase your clear speed as a jungler. So right away, you can see champs like Karthus and Talia are very broken because of it. And this component, Faded Ashes, builds into Liandry's and the new item, Blackfire Torch. That's a huge change that affects a lot of the meta. And you can see throughout the list, there's a lot of those champions abusing that. And after the hotfix nerf, it's still extremely broken. So I still see it as being a very strong option. So if you have a champion, build one of the, just building the component is the most important thing. Not so much upgrading it into the Blackfire Torch. You can also do it into Liandry's. And yeah, Karthus is extremely broken right now. It's not just because the item change is actually a big change that happened this patch, is the jungle experience change. So pretty much experience got buffed for jungle and it buffed for dual experience. So how does affect jungle? Well, jungle experience went up by a lot. As you can notice later in the game, you're actually able to catch up and even keep up with solo laners in levels. So that's a big thing. I expect this to slightly get nerfed in the future. But right now, this is extremely good for champions that farm quick and that want to power farm and be ahead in levels. So champs like Karthus, Nidalee, Talia, these champions excel at it and they're extremely good at it. And it's just really good in jungle overall. So how I see it is like your champion needs to farm quick now if you want to be a good jungler, and that's kind of how it adds into the Faded Ashes component. Speeds up a lot of these AP junglers clear so much that it's just extremely broken. So you're keeping up with levels, you're doing all that kind of stuff, playing around objectives because you're so ahead as farm. Super strong, so that's why the meta is really defined by these AP junglers and some AD junglers as well. So also, big thing that's happening is, as you can notice, is tanks. Tanks are sort of coming back into play. And the change that really helps them right now is actually the buff to Sunfire and the MR version of Sunfire, Hollow Radiance. And instead of having like the high HP, you lose like 100 HP, but you get 10 ability haste. This is extremely good, really OP for jungle. Really good because you want ability haste early for these core items. It helps a lot of junglers that are tankier. Champs like Skarner extremely good right now. Very good because of the HP stacking. A lot of the lower tier ones like Amumu, Volibear, Zac, I think are extremely good right now. Very happy with a lot of these changes and they excel a lot because of that. Zac especially, I think, is very hidden OP. Very good with these changes. And the last thing about changes on the patch that I want to touch on is actually Lethal Temple being removed. It does affect jungle champions a lot like Nocturne, but I still find Nocturne to be very effective. Champs like Jax finds comfort in other runes. Some champs reverted to Conqueror, some went on to press the attack. Champs like Briar abusing press the attack, and that's a big thing, and I think it affected the meta a lot for some champions, but it affected laners even more. Champs like Yone and Yasuo. So not overall, not that bad. I wouldn't be worried about that at all. And going through the tier list, some really highlight champions that I want to say is a lot of lethality, assassins, chap type champions like Kayn, Rengar, Kha'Zix. Assassins are really weak right now, and I think it's due to AD carries being extremely strong. Duo experience got buffed, so duo laners like AD carry support are much healthier because of the levels. Very unfortunate for assassin junglers that want a one-shot. And overall, lethality just seems to be on the weaker side, so try to avoid those junglers for now. Champs that are excelling really well, as we touched on, AP junglers. Rek'Sai is still the queen of the jungle. Not the very best, but she is performing quite good. Morgana is somehow broken. I think she's a bit weaker now because of the hotfix nerf, but I still, think very highly of these champions that are just really abusing those fast clears, keeping up with level. Karthus should be permaban. I hope I never see this champion the rest of my life. I permaban Karthus, as you should too, unless you're abusing it. Zac, Volibear, Amumu, I think are really good tanks with the new tanky HP items and very good. And, some new things that a new face you might see is Set Jungle. I actually think Set Jungle is really good. I tried the clear, and the clear you can full clear by crab. The E change is really nice. You put some points into Q, you're clearing quite fast. Your damage is really high. I've been trying Stride Breaker. It seems really good. I have to test more in solo queue, but I feel really good about Set Jungle. because he's actually, you know, a good engaging frontline champion that can really do a lot of damage. So that's a cool pick you can try out. I'll have a video on him in a few days. And overall, you know, F tier champions, Master Yi still needs buffs. Unfortunately, the E true damage is really bad. I expect them to kind of give some back on that department. Silas jungle still needs better clear, especially with this new change. He really has to clear faster if he wants to jungle. That's a huge thing in this meta right now. If you don't clear fast, you're really not going to be able to play the game. And overall, I hope next patch we get some AP jungle nerfs, and then we'll see how it all stabilizes. But the jungle experience buffs are really good and really big, so you should be having a good time. If you're abusing some of the OP champions up here, you're going to have a good time playing jungle. So if you guys like the video, be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck in the games, good luck on the climb. Farewell.